Hey everybody, welcome back to another video, and today I am going to be talking about one of my all-time favorite topics, music from the 1980s. So I've talked in a previous video about how music is a huge, important part of my life. I don't have any musical talent, but I kind of equate music to happy memories, to people, to places. When I'm having a bad day, when I'm having a rough patch, I'll turn on music and it just, it doesn't make everything go away, but it kind of makes everything bearable. I've got a huge range of different music that I like, though. I'm born in '76, so I had the late '70s music all through the '80s, the '90s, the 2000s. But my dad, as a kid, always played older stuff. So I heard a lot of stuff from the '50s and '60s. Loved that. A lot of Motown stuff I heard, which I really enjoyed. A lot of Latin stuff, country, a little bit of everything. And I was thinking about how I could do, videos about my favorite music. If I could do like about my favorite songs or something like that. And I thought it might be a little jumbled. It might just be too much. So what I decided to go back and do was kind of group them by decade or era or something like that. I figured let me start with the '80s because the '80s is my jam. I mean, you had everything you wanted in the '80s. You had happy love songs. You had sad love songs. You had lustful songs. Songs about greed and excess. You had cultural phenomenon songs. You had songs about reactions to like the Cold War stuff still going on. You had metal, you had the birth of techno. There were songs that just get your blood pumping. You had your quintessential '80s songs. So if I was to sit here and talk about every song I like from the '80s, this would be an hour and a half long. I mean, I could think of hundreds and hundreds of songs, but what I did was, I took a little time, I sat down and I whittled it down. So I kind of broken down into different groups. I'll kind of go over that. I'll try to keep this, my usual about 20 minutes ish. If it goes a little long, I do apologize, but so much stuff in the '80s. I just man, it was just a different time. I mean, it was a time of my childhood. I could enjoy stuff for what it was. There weren't all these responsibilities. I could just take it all in and just remember it. And I just equate so much of that, even though I had kind of like a rough upbringing, still so many positive memories from that time as well. And music is a huge part of that, let me kind of jump around. I mean, your quintessential '80s songs. When I think of the '80s, the first song that pops in my head is ironically not about the '80s, but "Summer of '69" by Bryan Adams. I mean, that is just like the sound of the '80s. That is just like, I love the song. I love the video. I'm always reminded of, even though I don't like South Park, I'm reminded of the South Park movie where, the U.S. is kind of going to war with Canada, and the Canadian ambassador is like, we apologize for Bryan Adams on several occasions. Um, I like Bryan Adams personally. Not him, I'm saying, his music. He had a lot of great hits. Heaven was another one, great love song from back in the day. But Summer '69 is just like, to me, the quintessential '80s song. I love that song. Small Town by John Mellencamp. That's another great one. It doesn't really hold any like significant meaning other than just I love the music in it. Just not so much the lyrics that don't catch me, but it's just like it just gets your blood going. Dun, 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 dun. Glory Days. Before Bruce Springsteen turned into a total douche. Let's see how he likes Australia here in a little while. Love that song. Just Glory Days, about thinking back to your not your high school days, but your days with your boys, hanging out with your fellas and enjoying the simpler times in life. Another great '80s song. God, there's just so many, guys. I mean, there's so many, but Forever Young is one I love by Alphaville. I like the slow version, which is a little bit longer. I like the more techno upbeat one. Great song. It kind of equates not with my personal one, but like I hear that song, I think of like prom. It's kind of like a high school dance kind of song, ish. But great song. Cruel Summer from Karate Kid. That's another one I love by Bananarama. Just there's something about the '80s music, the beat, the music, the lyrics too, on some extent. But I mean, just something about so much of that music of that era. It's just catchy. It gets you and grabs you and gets you up off your ass and moving around and just motivates you and whatnot. God, I mean, I seriously, I could go on forever, guys. She Drives Me Crazy by the Fine Young Cannibals. Just awesome, awesome song. Love his voice, the lead guy in there. They also had that song "Good Thing," which was okay. Just not. She Drives Me Crazy. Like to this day, is one of my favorite songs. I always enjoy that when it comes on the radio. Another one I really liked back in the day. Brain fart. The Way It Is by Bruce Hornsby in the Range. That guy could play piano, man. I mean, Billy Joel is a good piano player, and I'm Ray Charles, but Bruce Hornsby, man, that dude could play piano. Sort of like a social justice ish, social issues, maybe not social justice, social issues kind of song. I just really like that song. I mean, it's just the beat, the melody. The lyrics are good in that one too. But I mean, he also had that other song, "Mandolin Rain," which is really good. The thing with the '80s, there were the superstars, but there was a lot of one-hit wonders. And the '80s, look, every generation, every era of music is going to have one-hit wonders, but the '80s is like notorious for it. I personally think most of the songs I like in the '80s are one-hit wonders. Another one like when I think '80s, I think of is Always Something There to Remind Me. I can't remember the name of the group, but it's just like it's so distinctive. You'll know the song if you hear it. I'm sure it's been in movies and stuff like that. The one from Breakfast Club, "Don't You Forget About Me." What Breakfast Club is classic '80s movie, but that's a great song. I mean, that's just sort of like I guess like a coming of age song. You go in your separate ways after high school. Maybe you met up kind of in a freakish way. I don't mean bad freakish, but like not your normal, you hang around with somebody you wouldn't normally hang around with, and you find like a common bond there, and you go in your separate ways. Don't forget about me, kind of thing. It's sort of like what I think about. Who could forget? Bobby McFerrin, "Don't Worry, Be Happy," with the whistling, and Robin Williams in the video. I mean, just like it's catchy, I mean, it's just like the '80s had this thing where these songs were just so stupid and silly and pointless, but they were just so freaking catchy. I mean, there's a reason you still hear them. We're in 2020. There's a reason you still hear these songs on the radio. People still like them. They still dig them. They still get into them. Even though he just passed away recently, going back to Van Halen, "Jump," like really awesome '80s song, "Panama," both by that group. I love those songs. I mean, "Running with the Devil," they're just like the big hair, the rock and roll, just something about that era that was so good. Another one I liked is the Eagles. I liked them as a kid. My dad was a big fan of them. They broke up, I guess, like the late '70s, early '80s, kind of went their own way. Glenn Frey, which was a member of the Eagles, came out with a song, "The Heat Is On." If I'm not mistaken, it was in the Beverly Hills Cop soundtrack, but love that song. I mean, yeah, okay, it's kind of sort of ish with the whole drug thing going on in the '80s, but great beat to it, great song. The "Down Under," by the oh god, I can't Men at Work. Yeah, I love that song. Such a goofy video, but I mean, just videos. That's another thing. Yeah, we had something called VH1 and MTV that used to actually show music videos before like this whole stupid crap reality TV thing took over. I mean, we would be glued for like hours. I watched the first ever day of MTV. I remember that as a kid, watching like the first ever video, watching the first ever, like, music videos were like a huge thing back in the day, So I loved as much of the music as I did the music videos. Sometimes they were really stupid, but sometimes like you wouldn't even like a song, and the video was so cool that it would just like it would grab you. I was a big fan of Cyndi Lauper back in the day. She had a lot of great songs. "Girls Just Want to Have Fun" with Captain Lou Albano was in the video. I have that for my sister-in-law's ringtone. It's just a catchy song. She had a lot of really good love songs too. She had "Time After Time," one of the best love songs ever. "All Through the Night." She had the song from the Goonies movie, "Goonies Are Good Enough." I love that song. "La Bamba" by Los Lobos. Kind of like an update of the original folk song, but one of the best '80s movies out there. just their version is kick ass. I mean, like the guitar solo toward the end of the like top notch. I mean, you had God, what was it? The safety dance. Oh my God, like one of the dumbest videos you could ever see, but just iconic. I mean, everybody knows the song "Safety Dance." You have what's the other one by Youthquake? I think is their name. You spin me round, you spin me right round, baby, right round. From the Wedding Singer, just like these just stupid songs that you normally you'd be like, what is this crap? But they just grab a hold of you. They retain, they become a part of you. I mean, just the '80s music for me is like ingrained into my DNA. Video killed the radio star. Mexican radio, and of course my all-time favorite holiday song, "My Jam." Every single year I hear this song, I like freak out. You're gonna laugh at me, but like Last Christmas, I love that freaking song. I mean, I know it's stupid and it's not exactly a holiday song, but that's like my favorite. I was talking about cultural phenomenon. You got Ghostbusters. When Ghostbusters came out, guys, that was like this. That was like the second coming of Star Wars as far as cultural things. I mean, it got played so much on the radio where I grew up in New York that they had to ban it. Seriously, Ghostbusters is that popular back in '84. I mean, people still love Ghostbusters. Maybe not the song so much, but it's just you just equate. You hear it and it's like it takes you back to like being a kid and watching the Ghostbusters. Great song. I talked about the whole, growing up in that era. There was still sort of like the whole Cold War thing. We were at the tail end of it. Genesis. Phil Collins and his group had a great song called "Land of Confusion." Puppety video with Ronald Reagan versus the Russians. That was good. You had Rocky IV back in that era where Rocky's fighting. Dolph Lundgren, Drago, whatever his name is. There was a great song in there called "Burning Heart," talking about East versus West, and if they can find, basically, can you find a peaceful solution? You had the birth of techno. Techno kind of took off more in the '90s with the clubs and all that stuff, but there was two really good, technically, songs. I mean, it was more like soundtracks, but like the Miami Vice theme and the Axel Foley theme from Beverly Hills Cop, they kind of got their birth in the '80s. There, just when it's techno, when it's just music and no words, I'm not really huge on it, but those two are like super iconic, catchy. You gotta love them. You had the big hair metal bands. Oh God, I'm sorry guys, my allergies have been killing me the last couple of days. 80s is famous for the big hair metal and the heavy metal. I didn't really like the heavy metal, but like the in between, I liked "Come On Feel the Noise" by Quiet Riot. I love that. "We're Not Gonna Take It" by Twisted Sister. That was one of my favorite songs as a kid. One of my good friends that I worked with in my first real job at the movie theater in Port Washington. She was a couple of years older than me, but we got to be really close. She was a huge Twisted Sister fan, and she took me to like a little bar/club. We drove up to like Connecticut in the middle of the winter to see them live, and man, that was friggin' awesome show in this tiny little place. But I mean, D. Snyder, he brought it, man. There was a couple songs about like the Scorpions, "Rock You Like a Hurricane." That's another one I like. Of course, Guns N' Roses was really back in that time. You had "Paradise City," "Welcome to the Jungle." I'm trying to think of something else. AC/DC, okay, they kind of came around earlier, but one of their I've always enjoyed AC/DC. One of the favorite songs that they ever did, "You Shook Me All Night Long," came out in the '80s. I mean, yeah. I think it was part of the soundtrack from what's that Stephen King movie that I love with the trucks? Oh God, I'm drawing a blank, guys. I love that freaking movie with Emilio Estevez, where like the trucks go nuts at the truck stop diner. God, I can't think of it. Okay, I'll probably think of it like 3 o'clock in the morning. But anyway, great stuff. You had the stuff that really got your blood pumping in the '80s. It was a different time. I mean, it was a little bit more patriotic time, more pro-military than it's kind of been lately. You had the Top Gun came out in '86. Awesome movie, great soundtrack, mixture of oldies, new stuff. One of the greatest ever love songs that I'm going to get to when I get to that part. But the Top Gun theme, man, I love that as a kid. It's just still I hear it and it's like it gives you pride. One of the songs I liked as a kid by Patti Smythe was "The Warrior." My cousin Gabe and I, I'm sorry, I name dropped you. Didn't mean to do that. I usually don't name drop, but um, like we used to play that song over at my dad's as a kid. We had records, not iPods. We had 45s, 33s, whatever, records and cassettes, and even had some 8 tracks. But that's forget about it. You young people won't know what that is, but. We used to play the crap out of that record. I mean, it was just something about it, like you run away. I can't sing worth of crap, so I'm not going to torture you guys. So forget that last few seconds there. But if you've never heard that song, go find it on YouTube. I mean, that is like another quintessential 80s song. Love it. Get your blood pumping. What's her name? Something Kane and the Triangles. Tiny from Terminator. That song, "You Got Me Burning" in the Third Degree. I love that song. That's another one. Um, you know, think back to Rocky, "Eye of the Tiger." That was one. "Tough Enough" by the Fabulous Thunderbirds, whatever their name was. Another one from Top Gun, "Danger Zone" by Kenny Loggins. That was a great song. So many songs back in that era that you just hear them and it's like, dun, dun, dun. Like it would like get you up and moving and get you motivated. If you were having a bad day, it would like kind of make that dissipate a little bit. Then the 80s was also the era of like excess and greed and lust. So when I think of excess and greed, two songs that come to mind, one that I really love by Tears for Fears, "Everybody Wants to Rule the World," and the great song by Annie Lennox and the Eurythmics, "Sweet Dreams." Like those two songs kind of epitomize to me like the whole, I don't want to use the word yuppie, but like that whole, money, greed, power era kind of. Look, it's human nature. Human nature has been around since the beginning, but you kind of equate that with the 80s. And then we talk about songs that are just purely about the carnal activities that humans have. You got "Pour Some Sugar on Me" by Def Leppard. That's a classic. You got "Venus" by Bananarama. Great video. Always enjoyed that one. You've got "Obsession" by Animotion. I think Animotion was the group. Kind of like their one-hit wonder. Weird video. It's all like this sort of ancient Greece thing going on, but that's a great song. What's another one that "Black Velvet" by well, I can't think of her name, but just awesome music like that. So let me close out the video with the topic. Music in the 80s. You've got, like I said, all these various different things, but 80s to me, I was too young to really know what love was. But looking back on it now, some of the greatest love songs of all time came out of the 80s. The greatest happy love songs and the greatest sad love songs. So let me start with the sad ones, then we'll close out the video with the happy love songs. Hang on, because I feel a scratchy throat coming on. I apologize, guys. We've had a little bit of a change of weather down here, and whenever there's that change of weather, my allergies kind of kick my rear end. It's a little bit tougher for me at night, but I think back, talked about the Eagles breaking up early. You got Don Henley. I've always liked his music, but it's like he tries so hard to sound all smart, and his lyrics. I don't know if he wrote them or somebody else did. Like he tried way too hard, but he had a lot of great solo songs. But probably my favorite one was "The Heart of the Matter," and it's kind of song about sort of asking for forgiveness from somebody you used to love that you might have done wrong or whatnot, or moving on with your life. So that's a good one. Not really so much a breakup song, but "Right Here Waiting" by Richard Marx. I guess that and "Faithfully" by Journey are kind of songs about you're on the road if you're a musician or whatever. If you're just on the road, you're away from your family, you're away from your loved ones. It's talking about how much you miss them and you wish they were there. So those are great songs. One I really like, another Patti Smythe and Don Henley teaming up here. I think one of the best love songs ever. And yeah, okay, it's a sad love song, but "Sometimes Love Just Ain't Enough." I've kind of experienced that in my life where it's difficult when you love somebody and you go through some rough times, but you hang in there. I don't read anything into this. I'm just saying that's kind of what I equate it to. But that's a really awesome love song. I've always liked that. The Flame by Cheap Trick. That's another one about, lost love. That's really good. Against All Odds by Phil Collins. Kind of holding out hope that somebody might come back into your life. That's a really good one. Um, but I think the two best sad songs from the 80s, really not only from the 80s, I mean, they originated in the 80s, but two of the best sad love songs of all time, hands down. It Must Have Been Love by Roxette. I mean, that is such a beautiful song. That's just about, something happened outside. I don't know what that was. Um, just about love and loss. I mean, that's just an awesome, awesome sad song, and probably my favorite sad. Ooh, golly, I'm sorry, guys. My favorite sad song of all time, and I'm gonna try to hurry this up because I see I just passed the 20-minute mark, and I usually try not to do that if I can help it. Um, "Careless Whisper" by George Michael, Wham. This song is like, even if you like, I have the instrumental version. Even the instrumental version is just amazing. I mean, there's just something about the beat and the melody, and of course, the song's about, kind of infidelity and losing the one you love, and I've kind of been the victim of that in the past, and it sucks. That's not really why I just remember the song so much. I just remember the first time I heard it as a kid. I guess it's a saxophone, whatever the instrument is in this. I mean, just an amazing, beautiful, amazing song. Super sad song, but I mean, just a great song. Okay, so I'm already at 21 minutes. So I'm kind of hurry this up because I don't want to, go too long on these things. Okay, the 80s, like I said, famous for the love songs. Let me run down a quick list of my favorite of them, and we'll wrap it up here. Um, the Search Is Over by Survivor is another one. Kind of young people maybe finding love that you didn't expect. You'd kind of been looking for a while. You were kind of lost, whatever. That's a great one. I mentioned Time After Time before by Cyndi Lauper. That's a great one. Um, from the movie Karate Kid 2, The Glory of Love, Peter Cetera. I've always loved that song. It's sort of about like defending somebody you love, defending their honor, or literally just defending them, willing to, to give everything for them. That beautiful song, just catchy. And another one like Karate Kid 2. In the future I'm going to do a video about the Karate Kid series, one of my favorite movies, just as a kid and even now. So that was one of the theme songs from that. Lady in Red. That one's, that's another one that, like, it's from one of the Gene Wilder movies. But I mean, I equate that to, like, high school prom dance kind of song like that. But what a beautiful song. Drive by the Cars. That's another one it's just so beautiful. I mean, a lot of these love songs, like, I love them, but I don't really equate them to somebody. Most all of them, but I mean, just awesome, awesome songs. There is one by the original Girl Power, long before the Spice Girls. Heart came out with a song called These Dreams. It's sort of like, a girl kind of having her dreaming about her ideal romance, but man, what an awesome video, what an awesome song. Like, to this day, that's probably one of my all-time favorite songs ever. Great song. And then there's the last three I'm going to close it out with. One I do kind of equate with somebody that I knew a long time ago. Crazy for You. It's kind of about, I equate that with like the first time you really fall in love with somebody. I mean, like, really fall in love with somebody. I had a girlfriend before I met the person that this song kind of applies to. But it's just it's a reminder of a special time in my life. Things didn't always work out the way we want in life. But always a happy song. Like, I don't have sad memories. It just reminds me of like the good times there. And then two of like how I said, Careless Whisper is like one of the greatest sad songs. The two of probably the best love songs of all time. Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now from the movie Mannequin. I just love that song. Just about two people falling in love and just sticking it out no matter what. And then not the greatest, but one of the greatest all time love songs, Take My Breath Away, again from Top Gun. Top Gun had like the killer soundtrack from the 80s. Out of all the movies in the 80s that had awesome soundtracks, Top Gun had the best. But Take My Breath Away by Berlin, like, I never had somebody to equate that song to, but my God, that is like just an awesome, another one, like, just the music. You don't even need the words in these songs. Just the music is so good in them that you just equate it with love. You can just feel, whether or not they were just singing it because it was their job, or they actually were singing it reminding themselves of somebody else. But I mean, nailed it. So anyway, I did go a little bit long. I'm coming up on 25 minutes. I do apologize, but again, the 80s is just like my time. I love the 80s. I have very fond memories of it. You know, the music is probably the era that I like the most. Even though I love 90s music, we'll do a video on that. I love, you know, oldies, 50s and 60s music, somewhat of the 70s, and you know, some more modern stuff. You know, country. We'll do a couple of videos here and there, but 80s is like, you know, the era with the most songs I like. I forgot "Hands to Heaven." I gotta throw that in there from Breathe. You know, Aha, Take on Me. Like I said, I could sit here all night and talk about the 80s music. I've probably left like hundreds of them off that I like, but there's only so much time, and I'm already at 25 minutes, so I apologize. But all right, I'm gonna cut it short, guys. If you enjoy my videos, please, you know, subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell up there, so you'll be notified when I when I produce. Doggone it. When I post a new video, normally I try to keep them around 20 minutes. I apologize. This is just a few minutes over, but you know, please, if you like this video, leave a comment. Tell me about what your favorite songs are from the 80s, and we will see you guys in the next video.